The following episode contains major spoilers for a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition publication. Listener discretion is advised. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Legend Lore, the podcast series where two Dungeon Masters flip through one Dungeons & Dragons book at a time, giving their insights on the pros and cons of the publication in question. I'm Adam, and with me, of course, is Dan, and we're going to go over our thoughts on the Wizards of the Coast product, Candlekeep Mysteries. Now, we haven't cracked this book yet.
No, and when it comes to Forgotten Realms lore, Candlekeep's a bit of a blind spot for me. I don't know a lot about it.
Okay, so I do know a little bit about Candlekeep because when they announced this, I went, Candle what? And did a little bit of a...
Why is everything a keep? What is this?
Well, so here's the thing. It actually is a castle. It's not a city. It's an actual keep. But the thing about it is it's a library.
Oh, cool.
And it holds all of the knowledge in Faerun. Like that's the thing about it. It is guarded by a specific order of scholars, and their rule is if you destroy knowledge, there was a phrase, it was like by ink, pen, or fire, we destroy you. So this is a place where it's a repository. Now, they copy books and they sell books. That's their main income here. There's a special order that's kind of monk-like.
Sure. Okay.
As well that protects certain aspects of it. There's a catacomb beneath with a fucking ghost dragon that lives in it to protect it.
I'm sorry, pardon what?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in Candlekeep. I don't know how much of that they get into in this book. From what we've seen with the other location-based books, Waterdeep did a pretty good job of Waterdeep. Undermountain, of course, did a great job exploring the Dungeon of the Mad Mage and Undermountain there. But Baldur's Gate sucked. Didn't really touch Baldur's Gate. Icewind Dale was point A to point B a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Right. It was kind of a round trip tour of it.
The problem with Icewind Dale is there's not a lot in the Dale to really cover in terms of flavor for the cities. They've got some in terms of 10 towns, but beyond that, they're...
Yeah, so I don't know about this. And then I was thinking about the other anthologies, and I'll tell you right now, we have two so far, right? Tales of the Yawning Portal.
And Ghost of Saltmarsh.
Right. We don't really spend any time in Saltmarsh.
Oh, yeah, we do.
No, not in the town proper itself. I mean, you get your quests launch, but I think only one of the... Yeah, I did some digging into this. You are heading out to islands and you're on boats.
Yeah, a lot of it is very nautical.
Yeah, you're not in the town proper. You're not exploring Saltmarsh the way that you explored Waterdeep, right? And the Yawning Portal is really just a loose narrative.
It is a justification for publishing old modules in 5e.
Yeah, so honestly, I don't know how much Candlekeep we're going to get into in this book. Before we jump into it, though, this is an anthology of 17 mystery-themed adventures for the world's greatest role-playing game. That's what it says on the front.
That book is too thin for 17 adventures.
Well, grab your die, Dan. We're going to roll initiative. I've got some questions.
A natural one.
All right. So the first question is, what do we hope is in this book? And for me, I want plug and play, drop into any campaign modules. That's what I want.
I don't necessarily want modules, but like 2-session campaign arcs or like...
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you remember Dungeon Magazine and Dragon Magazine? They would have these little...
Very fondly.
Yeah, and they would have these little adventures that were published in it. That's what I want out of this book.
Yeah.
I want it to be a little bit more in-depth. I want it to be tied together nicely. I want it to have a general flavor of the NPCs here, better than the Yawning Portal did. Frankly, Dragon Heist did a better job of telling us who was in the Yawning Portal than Tales from the Yawning Portal did.
Yes, yeah.
So,
for me, I one of the weak points of this game is appropriately flavored puzzles and stuff like that. I want to see some sort of help in building my own puzzles that are appropriately themed for my players, not going on and finding brain teasers that
Tasha's was good about that.
Fifth grade teacher
bit.
would write on a whiteboard before class. Like, that's not what I want. I want like good puzzles I could throw at my players.
Okay. Let's roll again, Dan. I want to know what are we wary of? All right, I got a 14. You're not going to win any of these. So what am I wary of in this? I do not want there to be the same thing over and over again. As much as you're saying, I want more puzzles and whatnot. That's great. I want variety.
Yeah.
I want there to be something for everybody in here. And a lot of the time, the Dungeons and Dragons publications feel very one note. And that's kind of by design, they kind of build it that way. But I don't always like that note, and you don't always know what you're getting into when you start to play it, right? Like when I picked up Tales from the Yawning Portal, and I found out that I spend a lot of fucking time underground in dungeons. I do not want a series of, and then this is the hint for this clue for this puzzle for 180 pages.
Yeah,
right?
fair enough.
I do want there to be different kinds of mysteries. And I'm afraid that we won't get that.
There are 17 different ones. They must be isolated. Like I don't know what to expect with those, but the size of that book and the number on the cover of the amount of mysteries within, I am wary that all it is very, very specifically themed mysteries, right? Like, here's your murder mystery. Here's your, heist kind of thing, right? Like
225 pages.
It's shockingly small for that. So I'm looking forward to getting into it, but I'm not going in with high expectations.
All right. So shall we crack the book?
Sure.
Let's roll initiative to see who's going first on this. Got a 16.
I got a 5.
All right, I'm going to crack it. I don't know if the mic picked that up, but it did that wonderful.
Yeah, yep.
All right, so I'm going to flip to the front page. We've got a series of books. So the idea here is that every single one of these mysteries, I do know this, every one of the mysteries is based around one of the books in the library needing to be hunted down, or something fucky is happening with one of the books.
Okay.
You're protecting, you're finding, you're using a book somehow. So it is very tied into that.
Okay, cool.
I like the art well enough, but it's not inspiring.
It's not stunning me.
Like the cover art specifically.
The cover art is 2 people reading. Yay!
Yeah, I do really like the alternative cover.
Is that a beholder?
Yeah, on the back it is.
That means something.
Sure, but I do really like the alternative cover. It's classic leather bound almost, which if you're doing a book on a library, that I do like that quite a bit. The disclaimer.
Yeah, highlight of all these books.
This book has been compiled by the Avowed of Candlekeep. The Avowed, I think, was that group.
Okay, cool, okay. Yeah.
In accordance with the wishes of the late Alaundo, the Seer, whose prophecies foreshadow all events of consequence in the Forgotten Realms. Do you know about this? Do you know him from lore?
No.
All right, I'll hit that in a sec. Alaundo warned that anyone who unravels all the mysteries of this tome will be hunted down by the time dragons of Chronepsis, tossed into the gaping maw of Dendar the Night Serpent.
Oh, hey.
Which is the UNT god, and cast into the vortex of ineffable damnation. Haha, what a sense of humor, that Alaundo. So, I'm hoping that we get some actual planar shit and gods and warlock summoning shit. That's kind of what they're, like, forbidden knowledge level.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Stuff. So, Alaundo is the Nostradamus of the Forgotten Realms.
Oh, okay.
And he's dead now. He foresaw his own demise, and so he went to Candlekeep. He was not there originally. He went to Candlekeep to write down his prophecies. I forget how many he wrote down, but it was a decent
amount. A sizable amount, yeah.
Well, no, it was like 13 or something. Like it wasn't a whole lot. Some of them have come true, but like weirdly, specifically, perfectly have come true. And this order of monks that I said...
The Avowed?
No, the Avowed, I think, are the ones that actually protect and run the library. This order of monks that are below Candlekeep, they chant his prophecies over and over since they've read them, trying to determine the truth of the prophecies, because once they come to fruition, it becomes very clear what had happened.
Okay.
So in hindsight, they make perfect sense, but in foresight, you don't know what's going to happen. Right? So... which, I mean, is the hallmark of a good prophecy. But these guys chant it over and over again, and when one of them passes, they stop chanting it. But they have been chanting without stopping for, like, years.
Oh.
So it is this order of chanting monks down below the city. So
that's cool.
And by monks, I mean friars. I don't mean D&D monks.
I don't know. A character that is one of these guys that just like recites the prophecies as he engages in combat would be pretty badass flavor for a monk.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I really like that. Anyway,
okay,
here you go, Dan.
So we're gonna do the table of contents. As typical, I mean it's 224 pages. This is gonna be a big one. Starts off with being a book of books. This is how to use this adventure. And the adventures within.
Sure.
I like that it's called a book of books and it's about a library.
Yep.
Sounds great. You're going to get a little brush through Candlekeep, and then there they are, the 17 encounters. At the very end, you have and there are the 17 encounters.
That's it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then the end. So you get a little bit of Candlekeep, literally 10 pages of what's going on in Candlekeep, and then 17 adventures.
There's no appendices?
There's no appendices.
There's no monsters list?
None of that, no. There are some new creature stat blocks, but they are all within their individual adventures.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. Yeah. That's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so... it does say in the table of contents that there are new monsters and they are marked with an asterisk. So if you do want to go directly to them, it'll tell you where they are in the contents.
I guess there's no index or appendices or anything. Or
I'm looking here. There's Chewinga in this. Again, this is the third book with Chewinga. Come on.
They've got to be some... I think that there's an overarching plot of 5th edition.
With Chewinga?
I think so.
Okay. Well, Adam...
this is an anthology, and it says if you're not running in the Forgotten Realms campaign, you can adapt the adventures into Xanthoria, into Eberron, and into Orth, which is, of course, Greyhawk.
Greyhawk, yep.
So it tells you right in the first section of the first chapter that here's where you put it. There's nothing Dragonlance, so I don't think we're going to get Dragonlance. There's nothing Theros or Ravnica. Those are the three, and that's it.
I still think we'll get a Dragonlance book, but I agree with you. This doesn't set you up for it.
No. Using the adventures is good, but it says running the adventures, and there are some sections here. Be a sensitive dungeon master.
Hey!
Dissecting the adventures. About the Forgotten Realms. Though we haven't About the Forgotten Realms. It's
probably just going to be the same thing we've gotten in other books, where it's the Forgotten Realms is a bunch of realms that are forgotten. Thanks.
Good maps and clear trails can carry inexperienced youths with dream of glory to far across the world, but these paths are never safe. So there you go. You got your general fantasy things.
Yeah.
There's a little bit on Candlekeep. Details with the history and nature of the realms, fill volumes. Okay, sure. There's also a list of the Candlekeep Mysteries. We're on essentially the second page here, and it lists them all out and tells you what level they're at. So there are 17, and it goes levels 1 to 16. Level 4 doubles up.
Sure.
Weird. I'd like to know why.
Why 4 is doubled up? It's probably because that's like the ideal solve a mystery level.
I guess.
Traps are still threats.
So it gives you the name of them, which is fine. But it also gives you the description. A book leads characters on a quest to find a missing sage is the first one. I'm just,
by the way,
at random. A haunted book points a ghostly finger at the perpetrators of an unsolved mass killing in Waterdeep.
Okay.
A book holds the key to unlocking a bard's prison.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not getting anything out of that. Like, you're giving me the plot in one sentence. I don't have a feel for this.
I'm starting to think this is going to be more Tales of the Yawning Portal than Saltmarsh.
Why? What's the difference in your head? What do you mean by that?
Ghost of Saltmarsh had some overarching plot along all of them. Yes, it was an anthology of things, but there was still an overarching plot within them. Tales of the Yawning Portal is very every single adventure in there is insular and their own thing.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any sort of narrative.
I'm seeing no narrative here, other than books
and Candlekeep. It does say in this section under using the adventures, each adventure in this anthology embraces one of the following narrative conceits. The first one is the characters discover a book in the library that contains a mystery. Getting to the bottom of the mystery requires embarking on an adventure. Or, the second one, the characters come to Candlekeep on a quest for information, perhaps to solve a crisis elsewhere in the world. During their research, they uncover a book and the mystery it contains, which leads to an adventure. Which sounds like the same thing, except you started earlier in the life cycle. Like, you're either in Candlekeep or you're coming to Candlekeep for a reason.
There's a book. You do an adventure because of what the book tells you. Welcome to Dungeons & Dragons. I'm unimpressed.
Yeah, all right. The next page brings us to Candlekeep. Now,
it's going to give us an idea of where Candlekeep is, and it does sit atop a cliff face that overlooks the Sea of Swords, far on the western coast of the Sword Coast. It gives you an idea of how to enter the Candlekeep, which does involve writs and fees for admission, and then you are never allowed to be alone within the racks of Candlekeep.
Sure.
So you need to find a guide, and it gives you some avowed adjudicants that you can find as a guide within the racks.
Sure.
Okay. It gives you the ideas of what kind of defenses that Candlekeep has, as well as the
general decorum
of it. So they've got wards set up everywhere because, of course, they do. And it's got some rules for these wards. You've got magical restriction, which anyone entering Candlekeep by any route other than the front gates, you cannot do it. You have to walk in Candlekeep through the front door.
Cool. Okay.
No teleporting in. Anyone who tries to fly over the wall is stopped short. Magical flight is dispelled. So even natural flight, you can't get in. You have to go in through the front door. Flames larger than a candle are suppressed within Candlekeep. Hey, there's a bunch of books. They don't like fire. Surprise, surprise.
I like that, though. That gives kind of a quiet, haunted feel to it.
Yep. The only exception is, of course, the fireplace in the Hearth, which is Candlekeep's sole tavern.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, it's a keep. It doesn't need 4 freaking bars.
Yeah.
Right?
There are anti-theft devices on every single book, scroll, or other work considered part of Candlekeep's collection.
Cool. Establish that early for the rogues and the wizards who are greedy.
Yep. And finally, the Keeper of Tomes can activate a mythal, which is an exceptional, unbreakable magical effect that envelops all of Candlekeep in a protective shield. Basically, the Keeper of the Tomes, the head of Candlekeep, can activate a bubble to protect Candlekeep from
anti-dragon.
Yeah. Next, it's going to go through the orders of accordance. These are going to be how you are supposed to behave within the walls of Candlekeep. These are the behavioral codes.
Sure.
Okay? No fighting, no stealing, no copying, and no damaging, marking, or otherwise modifying the works. You fail these, there are consequences. Most of them are just going to be you're kicked out and never allowed to come back. Finally, it's going to break down sages and master sages.
Okay. We get stat blocks from both.
And we get stat blocks for both of them. They are medium humanoids of any race, and then there's a bunch of things here, including, weirdly, a fireball spell on the master sage.
Interesting. Well, fireball doesn't light things on fire, right? That's one of the things about it, is it doesn't ignite shit around, right?
The fire spreads around corners and ignites flammable objects in the area that aren't being worn or carried.
Well, never mind. Okay.
So, sure, they get shocking grasp and a fireball. And then it is going to break down the avowed and their levels, like their ranks.
Sure. All right. So we jump into Candlekeep locations then from there, which is a Court of Air, which is a wide courtyard that has nary a tree nor a well, cluttering its cobblestone expanse. So it's just a big, wide open cobblestone courtyard.
Cool.
There's a House of Rest, which is a bunkhouse. The Hearth, which is a tavern. The Hearth gained its larger dimensions courtesy of extra-dimensional magic created by worshippers of Gond, which is the god of craft.
Cool. So it's bigger on the inside.
There is a chaotic good ogre called Little One, which is neat.
My guess is he's not so little.
No, he's wearing a headband of intellect.
Cool.
So, I like that. That's a good little detail. There are demi-planar chambers. So several doors line the walls of Hearth. They're visible from the inside of the tap room. They do not appear to exist when the structure is viewed from the outside. So we got all sorts of extra dimensional shit going on. Little pocket universes, which is cool, including meeting chambers, shrines. There's a bath and steam house. House of the Binder, which is where you can get non-magical tomes, spell books, and works of the avowed. And then it gives you some actual, like, how much that costs, there's prices and shit.
That's good. I've always had an issue with how little there is in terms of breakdowns on buying books.
Yep. There's also a couple of towers of varying heights, and they're called the Pillars of Pedagogy.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of research that's conducted in those. There's a Temple of Ogma.
I love Ogma.
I don't know Ogma.
Ogma's the knowledge god.
Okay, of course. Erudite outfitters and clothiers, smithy and stables, Emerald Door. The Emerald Door is the main point of access to the inner ward. It stands in the western court of the Court of Air. It's 15 feet tall and made of translucent dark green stone that glows from an inner light. Okay, cool. And it gives you what's in the inner ward, which is the Great Library. There's a Bastion of Exaltation, which is the tallest, most heavily defended structure in Candlekeep.
Okay.
Beneath it is Miram, the Sentinel Worm. Oh, this is the ghost dragon. They've actually got a neat little picture of
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so she's a translucent-looking dragon head peering out in this artwork. There are echoes of Alondo. He magically recorded his spoken words.
So there's just going to be like random old insane dude yelling prophecies at you at any point in time within the inner ward.
Miram is large undead, so a large undead dragon. So would have been a young dragon.
Yeah, okay.
We get paralyzing breath and cold breath and necrotic breath.
Paralyzing and cold, so they would have been a silver.
Yeah. Oh, we get X-ray vision with this one too, and legendary resistances. Miram is bound to Candlekeep. That's part of it. Yep, absolutely is a silver one. There's regeneration here. Lots of resistances and immunities. Tons of skills and saves.
Is there a breakdown on her history?
Yeah, there's a couple paragraphs here.
Cool.
Well over 1,500 years ago, the silver dragon Miram broke into
the Yeah, okay.
Right. And then CR22.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
There's a chamber.
Man, it pisses me off. Their named dragons are always so cool and flavorful, and
it gives me the impression that the ones in the monster manual are templates. Build your dragons better than what they give you. Yeah, that's the base stat.
Yep, I'm starting to agree with you on that one.
There's the Chamber of Lost Lore, which you have to pass Miram to get to, and which is a roughly hewn chamber lit by continual flame spells. And here you can gain the power to contact the spirits of long dead sages.
Cool.
All right, and then
we're into the adventures.
And then we're into the adventures.
Okay, so the first mystery here, first adventure is your first level one. It is called The Joy of Extra-Dimensional Spaces. Basically, you have a book that you are given where you have to find the extra-dimensional space that is associated with the book, solve the mystery within, and that'll wrap that up. The thing I love about this is this features heavily our good buddy Mordenkainen.
Oh, yeah?
In fact, his face is plastered on the cover of the...
the book in question.
The book in question, which is... we have the art here. And we know Mordenkainen loves his extra-dimensional spaces because of spells like Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion.
Yep.
Right?
So that fits.
That fits. So basically you're given this book, have to figure out what's going on and go through. And of course it's going to involve a extra-dimensional space of some kind. You go through the... I don't want to give away what's actually in here, right? In terms of plot.
How many pages are we talking? Like 8, 9?
About 8, yeah. So we do get some interesting little things here.
What are the stat blocks that we're getting on this?
So there's a swarm of animated books.
That's fun.
Yeah, I like it. It's a CR quarter of, and it's a medium swarm.
Cool. Okay,
so that'll beat up your paladin or your barbarian. I have a feeling that's a nightmare scenario for your barbarian.
Well, at level 1, yeah, right.
The books. The
wizard's just laughing.
Yeah. So you also get an animated broom stat block.
Man, we're level 1. You're not going to get... Yeah. It's level 1. You're not going to get anything really crazy in here.
No. You get to have... There's a floor plan here of the Magnificent Mansion that you will go to, including a library within it. Finally, there is an animated chained library, which is a large construct.
Cool.
Yeah. If it's motionless at the start of combat, it has advantage on its initiative roll.
Nice.
I like that. That's cool. And then you go through, and there are several puzzle books you have to find within this place to get out of the mansion, by the looks of it.
Okay, and there's a part at the end that I'm reading this upside down, I'm looking over. It says assembling the books. So I guess you've got to put it all together in the right order and shit. So,
yep.
So that's the puzzle.
Yep. In terms of other things in here, I see mention of flying swords and slod tadpoles and stuff. But
the other thing that I'm noticing here is there's a lot of shit to be read out. You see, there's a lot of these
there's
boxes of scripted stuff. Do you like that?
I do.
I don't run modules, so I can't comment. I know some people like them and some people don't.
It helps, however, they can be a very big crutch for a lot of new DMs.
I think it can be a little clunky exposition too if you're not careful. So it's best to get that info and build it yourself.
This is a good one shot to kind of run, I would say, and will give you a good feel for a new player in D&D. There's some combat. There's some really cool puzzles as well here. So,
all right, cool.
Yep, that does that. Yeah, so we're going to flip this over to the next one. Level 2 characters.
Okay, so next is called Mazfroth's... You know what? I'm not wild about these names. Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions. Okay, so there's a collection of essays called exactly that. Mazfroth's Mighty Digressions was brought to Candlekeep only a few days ago. We get how to find the book. It's weird. I get a little blurb here at the beginning that gives me a little bit of a breakdown of what this...
Yeah, mine didn't.
Yours didn't have that, did it? So, okay. Finding the book description, essays and ramblings. So it contains a collection of eclectic essays. Though not much is revealed or known about the author, there's helpful knowledge that's in it. It means a character who scans it can learn a piece of information relevant to their interests, such as one of these. And it gives you a list of 3.
Cool.
Then you have a Gingwatsum.
I think that you have Gingwatsum.
It's a peculiar form of life created by a spell or ritual. The magic that brings it into being draws in spirit energy from the ethereal plane to give a Gingwatsum its true form, that of a luminous sphere of ectoplasm, roughly 3 feet in diameter.
It's Slimer.
Yeah, we get... Yeah,
Slimer.
It's Slimer, and we get a stat block for it. There are alternate forms, so it can turn into tiny non-magical objects.
It's Slimer.
Like a book, a dagger, or a gemstone. It has energy drain and change shape for actions. It gives you a what's going on. So there's actually a little summary at the beginning of this one, which is helpful. Then monstrous books. That gives us a section of what the avowed know. Questioning seekers. Apparently you're going to Baldur's Gate. This could be a good intro into the Baldur's Gate. But
Maybe.
No. The Descent into Avernus has a weird subplot at the beginning which launches and then is wrapped up and never mentioned again after like the 3rd level or something. Yeah. At level 2, this could be an alternative intro into that. But apparently you are right outside of Candlekeep now. Off you get. That's it. So then there's a marketplace known as the Wide in the Upper City, the wealthiest of Baldur's Gate. You are in Baldur's Gate now doing things. There are... just a number of different locations in here. It looks like that there's a lot of info at the beginning of what you are expected to find. You get some jackal wares, some were rats.
Candlekeep is just south of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I knew it was close.
Like it's Candlekeep up the coastway. You pass the Cloakwood and you're at Baldur's Gate. Maybe a couple days journey, if that.
So, spoiler alert, I'm going to say this right now for this one. There's a secret about the book itself, and they're going to figure it out really quickly what the secret is. Here's a spoiler. The book is a monster.
Cool.
And the first time they try to read it, it's going to attack them. Afterward, the characters discover that other books in Candlekeep have behaved similarly, and that's what they're trying to figure out, is why there's this malevolent series of books.
Okay.
So, and that takes them into Baldur's Gate. And there's not a whole lot of,
the mystery is basically hunting down these books.
Yeah, through the different locations in Baldur's Gate. That's all right. That's cool. Okay.
I like it. As for 3rd level, we have the Book of the Raven, written by Chris Perkins, so you know it's going to be good. So the Book of the Raven is a level 3 adventure, and basically it's a treasure hunt. Specifically regarding the events in the Shadowfell or the Vistani and Barovia. They're going to be very closely tied with this.
You know what? What level does Curse of Strahd start at?
3, I think.
Well, shit. Here's an intro. If you don't want to do Death House.
Yep, maybe, yeah. So the Book of the Raven is a first-hand account of an anonymous author who, after falling off her horse and breaking her legs, was rescued and befriended by Vistani travelers who graciously nursed her back to health. So inside is basically a treasure map.
Cool.
That you have to go through, and it's called the Map of Mystery. The mystery surrounding the Book of Raven has to do with the map that they slipped within the pages. This looks like a map scribbled together by...
Adam. That is my level of artwork right there.
Yeah, really is. So I like the Witch Way. One of the roads here is called the Witch Way.
That way.
Yeah. Except it's Wytchway. So, Witch Way. So, there's map. It eventually takes you to, by the looks of it, Chalet Brantifax.
So like a haunted house-ish?
Kind of haunted house-ish. There are several NPCs within the chalet, as well as a series.
In the States, they're going to call it a chalet, by the way.
Okay. They're wrong.
They are wrong.
There are were-ravens. So this is really tracking with the Shadowfell and Raven Queen and everything else.
Curse of Strayed.
It gives you a little paragraph here on good ways to roleplay were-ravens, including their mimicry and the sounds and stuff they do. There's a nice little chart there. We have a map of Chalet Brantifax.
It's a lot more of these boxes I'm seeing that are descripted.
Yeah, more descriptions of places as well as other puzzles.
It looks like it's mostly exploration based.
It looks very exploration based. There's a couple secret doors, some traps, a couple monsters, but not much. But there's also something called a shadow crossing, which I think is a
way into the Shadowfell.
Way into the Shadowfell.
Cool.
Yeah. There is a statue of Orcus or Orcus figurine, which is an item, and it's got some powers that if you got a necromancer in your party, holy crap. Okay. Anyways, there's a bunch of undead to fight, a couple things to force unlock, explains what happens with the shadow crossing, and then you come back to the material plane. So you go to the Shadowfell and you come back.
I guess you could choose to stay in Ravenloft.
Yeah, that works. And there's also step luck here for the Were-Raven, which is a CR2. Know what, Adam? I think we'll break these down later.
All right, the next one is our first one for level 4, which is A Deep and Creeping Darkness.
I love it. I'm on board already. The thing I'm noticing, these things are not self-contained little adventures. They're like, change some names for them for your campaigns to fit them, but they're definitely, I'm not pulling small mechanical things from them to throw out my party as a puzzle. I'm not finding any of that. What I'm finding here is isolated little, like, I need something to do for 2 sessions. I'll just throw this at my party.
Yeah. Okay, so this one is a little bit different than the others. You end up coming across a villager who has a book that was among the grandfather's old possessions. It was written by a bard, and it's got a series of stories in it. It's a combination of diary and a penny dreadful. And so as you flip through it, you discover that there is a mountain village called Vermalen, and it died a slow death by unknown means and is now abandoned. And it sits above a platinum mine, so it should be full of people. Mm-hmm. And nobody knows why. And so your players will then travel there. There's it mentions that there's a map to get there, but it doesn't give you a map.
I think this is just
there's a mountain road. Yeah. Off you go over there, right? Gives you a couple of NPCs that are in a tavern called the Bored Weasel.
This is the first time we actually get like character art for some of these NPCs. Even in Perkins, we didn't get any character art.
Yeah. No format seems to be the same there doesn't seem to be an overarching editing process to this, which is strange. There are lurking dangers. Characters see movement out of the corner of their eyes. When they turn to look, nothing is there. A voice whispers indistinct words in their ears. A terrified shriek splits the air. So it's got a real haunted feel to it. When they get into this abandoned village, they give you a map of the village, and it is small. And you can go. They give you a number of different places and locations within the village, but it is abandoned. And there are a number of things.
It looks like an abandoned, like, Alaskan village almost.
There's a specific reason. There's a kind of monster that exists elsewhere in the lore, like an established monster. There's like a thing that's happening here. I'm not going to spoil it.
We know what it is.
Yeah. But, yeah. So that's going through. That's responsible for this. But a lot of this is a straight mystery to find out what's going on. And there are only a couple of combats in here. One of them is particularly difficult, it looks like, for a level 4 party.
Okay.
Some of you will still have PTSD from the last time you fought a black pudding, but there's one in here at the end of this at level 4.
Yikes.
There's also a little section here which talks about passage into another plane of existence, another realm. I'm not going to spoil what it is because it's going to kind of give away who the bad guy is on this.
Okay.
But you know how you could go to the Shadowfell in the last one? there's a way to go to a different plane here. So these extra-dimensional spaces and planar travel seems to be a thing that we're seeing a lot here.
Books are passages to another world, so I guess it makes sense.
God, I hate you.
So the next 4th level adventure here is Shimes Bedtime Rhymes.
This one gives you an adventure overview. Look at that, the very first thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Ari Levitch, author of Shimes Bedtime Rhyme, for actually giving us an adventure overview.
It lists out the 6 events that take place.
Yep, it really helps out.
Beautiful.
So, Shimes Bedtime Rhyme is a book that has been collecting dust on a shelf in Candlekeep for over 600 years. It is a children's book that arrived at the library unceremoniously, and the characters are going to get a hold of this book, and then a series of events happens around the book, and you must basically live through it.
just straight survival, is it?
Kinda, yeah. There is a handout here, which is, this is the first one with an actual handout to hand out to the players. Which is
You're going to have
really
to transcribe this yourself, though. You don't want to cut your page up.
No, yeah, right.
It'd be nice if they actually had the handout.
Yeah. So then there is finding the book, the background of the book, the curse surrounding the book. There's a curse. And then some NPC breakdowns, including Crinkle the Kenku, who is going to be the guy you talk to the most probably in this entire thing. And then a series of events happens
A series of unfortunate events,
Basically, you are in this cellar and a bunch of things happens to you. And basically, from what I'm picking up here, these events are going to play out from the book you get pretty much as soon as you get it. You open the book and the event plays out in the room. So you're in one room and a different thing keeps on happening.
Oh, that's cool. So it's a bottle episode.
It's a bottle episode. This involves puppets, a singing skull.
Looks like a ghost.
And it is a specter, specifically.
Sure.
A medium undead named ghost that you fight at the end, basically.
Okay.
And there's only one way to kill it, which is cool. Anyways, at the end, you basically have to destroy the book. After that, it gives you a breakdown of the cellar where all of this happens, of the room where all of this happens.
Okay.
Or the area. It's not necessarily one room, but it is...
Yeah, it's an enclosed space.
It's an enclosed space, and that's what you get.
I'm glad that they give you a proper map for this, too. Like, I could sit down, and it would take me, 3 hours to prep this whole multi-page adventure?
Yeah.
All right, the next one for 5th level is called The Price of Beauty. Okay, so the general idea of The Price of Beauty is the fact that there's a book with a mirror on the front of it. Some people say that the mirror can speak to you, and an acolyte has disappeared while in possession of this book.
Oh, okay.
So you...
I know what happened.
Right? So you go to the Temple of the Restful Lily, which is a grand temple and bathhouse, and it is built over a century ago by the author of The Price of Beauty. This looks like there's a bunch of elven shit going on in here. There are some hags, so I'm happy.
Yo, the second it was The Price of Beauty, and it seems like this one's all based off vanity and uncovering vanity.
Yeah, so you're going to head to this temple, and this is essentially a run through with some hags.
It's a dungeon crawl.
Yeah.
Minus the dungeon, but...
Yeah, kind of. It does break down all of these different things. Oh, you get a naiad, which is
like a water dryad.
Yeah, but they're outlined in Theros specifically.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see them over here with the actual stat breakdown. There's a lot going on in this one, actually. There's a
wall of text.
There's a lot of stuff to read out. There are a lot of different enemies that you're going to run into.
There's a curse
and some strange things going on. There are multiple levels to a tower to explore. There's one section here, late in it, spoiler alert, called Victims' Quarters. And then at the end, at the conclusion, once you've dealt with the threat, you have the chance to rectify the dark deeds that have happened. And there's some fallout from it as well with the NPCs. This might not be a happy ending.
Cool. Next up is the 6th level adventure, The Book of Cylinders, which is written by Graham Barber. All right, so the Book of Cylinders is a book about a ancient conflict between some Gripply, which are our 4th frog-like humanoid in D&D.
What are the other 3? We have Bullywugs and Grung.
Grung.
I guess Slod.
Kuatoa.
Kuatoa are fish.
They kind of...
No, they're fish. They got fish heads.
Slod.
Slaughter Toady.
Yeah, so Grippleys, I mean,
we haven't.
Salwagon are on that realm as well. I mean, they're fish as well.
They're fish as well.
Kind of scaly.
Look, man, you just do not like aquatic shit.
Why so many frogmen?
I don't know. We haven't seen Grippleys since...
It says here, frog-like humanoids distantly related to bullywugs. Then just make them fucking bullywugs.
You know, but I've seen Grippleys before. Grippleys were, I want to say 3.5. I don't think it was my Days in 4th edition.
They're small frog-like creatures. Why aren't they
grung? What's their alignment?
Not listed.
Not listed. I'm sorry, what?
It does not have an alignment in its stat block.
Interesting.
That's a glaring error. Anyways, so you get this book, and it's basically a book of prophecy. And when you are out to figure out the events that the book entails, you are paid to save the Gripply village.
Okay.
That's basically what it is. So you get on a boat.
Sure.
And you go to talk to the Gripply people, I guess. There's a crab maze, which is a series of docks over top of a crab dock, like over top of some narrow rapids.
Sure, okay.
Breakwater.
And the only stat block you get is for the Gripply warrior.
Only stat block you get is for the Gripply warrior. This looks like this is going to be mostly roleplay, to be honest. You've got the maze, and then once you're done the maze, you can... The dozen or so Gripply warriors.
At level 6. What CR is it?
CR quarter.
Oh, wow.
There's not much in the way of combat here. However, there are going to be some Yuan Ti that you have to take care of.
Okay, there you go.
Including some Malisons in an old temple.
All right, yeah, they're going to fuck you up some.
I mean, not at level 4, they're not. Or level 6, they're not.
I don't know. More than one Malison at a time is not something that you really want to play with. But...
No. However, things do escalate here, but there are some treasure, including the Serpent Scale armor and a Serpent's Fang sword, which is a magical sword that deals extra poison damage to a target it hits.
I hate the fact that these monsters and these items are just listed in the adventure. I really want the appendices for this.
Yeah, right. And then it breaks down the Gripply and how grateful they are. Oh, man, that's weak. Sorry, Graham Barber, but that adventure...
No, you know what? I'm okay with having some roleplay. It feels a little... There's something for everybody in this so far.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're not hitting the same notes over and over and over again. The next one is going to be called Sarah of Yellowcrest Manor.
That's the title of the book, and this is your 7th level adventure, right?
Yeah. This one is... looks like it's a little bit darker than the ones that we've had so far.
Okay.
The idea here is that there is a woman named Sarah who came to Candlekeep from Waterdeep, and she brought with her a book. And the book is essentially a diary that she gave to one of the people at Candlekeep, and it went unread. And your players come into possession of the book.
Yep.
It's a diary, which is essentially a number of exercises and drawings and memories and whatnot until the last few pages where things take a dark turn.
As they do in these kind of situations.
But this is almost Lovecraftian with the...
Oh, cool, okay.
Well, just the tone of suddenly the diary goes real dark real fast. And Sarah, I think, disappears. And you are trying to hunt down what happened. And there's some sections which are like, you get culty in this one.
Cool.
It's not a happy story by any means. There's some real darkness involved here. And
I like how this book, the one constant thread that we've seen is how they are breaking down some important NPCs.
Yeah.
They have personality traits and like ideals and bonds and flaws. Like they have...
I do like that, yeah.
And that will really help you play them. Every single major NPC has had this so far in all of the versions. Like that seems like the kind of thing they're really pushing is NPC generation, funny enough. And
yeah, it's weird that they're really putting the effort into that. There are some cool battles in this as well. There's one part here that says cult tactics, which I'm glad that we get. You get a proper villain as well, like a named bad guy that's leading this. Yep. I'm assuming is a cult leader, but I haven't looked into it. There's some traps and some secret areas, and I think that the ending is not necessarily a happy ending so much as it is a resolution to this horrible tale.
So the next book here is the Lore of Larue, which is the 8th level adventure for your party. And this is some Alice in Wonderland level horseshit that happens. A high mage of Silvery Moon wrote the book on behest of the lesser deity Larue the Unicorn, who is an elven deity. The book resided in that archmage's library until eventually finding its way to Candlekeep. Now, the book itself is enchanted, not cursed, enchanted, and those who read it pop into a Demi-plane, which is full of elfy, Feywild level...
Fey bullshit.
Very Silvery Moon inspired nonsense. So, and then you have to work through the storyline of the book.
You know what? I don't hate that. I really don't. I mean, it is Fey bullshit and it feels kind of whimsical, but we just did something dark in the previous one, right?
I guess that's true, yeah.
So,
this one gets dark pretty quick. Your first encounter is you are going to encounter some satyrs who then lead you through the jungle or the forest, and it says here, should take at least 2 hours or as long as 6 hours at your discretion as a DM, and there are random encounters and a table here for you to throw at your party.
Fuck, okay.
Okay. Next, you go through the...
Look, I'm always happy to get random encounter tables, but it feels like a wasted opportunity. Like, you could have storyline there for...
Oh, there's storyline to it.
Is there?
Sure,
okay.
Yeah. There are treants and sprites and ettercaps.
Okay, so Fey bullshit.
A hag's menagerie.
Oh.
Then there is the cult of Malar, who is the bloodthirsty god of the hunt, also known as the Beast Lord. Basically, the antithesis of Larue would be Malar. But there is a cult of Malar within inside. You fight them, and then there is a CR8 monstrosity that you fight at the end that is badass as hell, but I will not...
Ruin it. That's a plot point. It looks like it's named, like it's a unique monster.
Yeah. And then some really cool magic items at the end of it.
Wasn't Malar the name of a Cardassian in Star Trek?
I was like, no, that's Kim.
What?
Kardashian.
Oh, no, because Harry Kim was on Voyager.
Oh, that's right. Anyways, here's the next one.
Okay, so I'm just going to be mad in general right now at the spelling of Candlekeep Deconstruction. All of the C's are now K's. And I hate it. I hate it. But in this adventure, the characters fight against a ticking clock to stop a misguided cult from launching one of Candlekeep's towers into space.
Fuck, what?
so all the fake bullshit is like this is crazy. There's a book description, secrets of the barn door, speak with the dead, earthquake with an exclamation mark. Wow, so there's like, this gets fucky.
The barn door is the name of the tower.
There's livestock cult members.
Is it the livestock cult, or is it just like a bunch of cows wearing robes?
Move aside. I'm going to let you guys figure that out as you go. This is actually pretty fun. I'm flipping through this and like, you get to go to Stonky's study. Shit gets right out stonky. This is cool. At one point, you find a list of 7 steps to success. 4 have been crossed out. This is pretty fun, actually. You get a new stat block. Okay, there is a person. There's an NPC called Stonky Knop-Topper. This is gnomish. Yeah, this is gnomish.
Gnome, yeah.
Yeah, you go to the kitty widget nests.
Yeah, oh god, Terry would hate every moment of this.
New monsters are the skitter widget. The art for this is a tower literally exploding up like a fucking rocket.
And don't forget the kitty widget.
Yeah, hold on. So these are constructs. One small and one is medium. And it looks like they climb and move around. And so there's not like wings or anything. They look like they are electrical powered.
Okay.
The kitty widget is the little one, and the skitter widget is the medium one. And skitter widget has a reaction called Good Parent, which imposes disadvantage on one attack roll made against the kitty widget that it can see within 5 feet of it. Like, this feels just this is a Dan adventure.
No bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
So that's fun. You know what? They said at the beginning that you could play this in the different places in Eberron and whatnot. And the place that they say to put Candlekeep would be to run the adventures out of Zilargo, which is the gnome country that they have there.
Cool.
And that really does feel like it fucking belongs in there.
All right, Adam. 10th level. We're doing Zikran's Zephyrin Tome. Okay. This was a book that was donated anonymously and has been misfiled in the tomes and the racks of Candlekeep, and is often seen as a treatise in the inner planes.
Okay.
Your party will come across this book if they are searching for things like denizens of the inner planes, especially the Wind Dukes of Akka.
That was the Aarakocra shit,
yeah.
Right? Okay, so hold on a sec. Why would your guys be looking for these in the first place?
If you are doing...
this feels like you have to be really specific.
Well, if you are in Chult, if you are in...
Yeah, but you're not. You're in Candlekeep.
Yes, but if you wanted to put this in there or something, like you're doing some research in that regard, you do that. Anyways, so you go up to a laboratory. I guess you're trying to find the author of the book to get them to unlock the book, basically. There is a genie trapped inside the book. The mystery is to free the genie from the book.
Just use your third wish, Aladdin style.
You are level 10. You don't have one. So you go and you have to track down Zikran, who's the author of the book, to get them to free the genie. And there is a lot of overland travel here. There is a young bronze dragon involved.
Cool. Okay.
In all this.
So the scope's a little bit bigger now.
But then eventually you start climbing into the cloud peaks. And you're dealing with...
Cloud giants.
Beauty. At level 10.
Cool.
Yeah, so this one feels like a very traditional...
That sounds D&D to me.
Feels traditional D&D. You do eventually find Zikran in all of
Spoiler alert.
In all of his glory. And at the very end here is a stat block for a cloud giant ghost, which is a CR9 huge undead. Again, missing alignment, but we could assume lawful evil?
Why? Because undead?
Yeah.
But cloud giant. It depends.
That's why I'm thinking lawful.
Well, it depends on what it's doing in the damn story, or if it's a guide, or if it's a battle.
It's a battle.
But is it protecting the long lost whatever?
I don't think so. No. But this thing's got some... Holy shoot, this thing's got some abilities. And some immunities. So have fun fighting those things, guys. But yeah, this... Basically, once you solve everything, you go through, you do traditional D&D stuff with the Archmage. He will free, or your party will be able to free the genie, who then casts a wish on the party.
Well, shit.
Yeah. That art for that cloud giant ghost is badass. And I mean, so is the art for Zikran.
What's interesting here, sorry, before I move on, is I'm looking at the cloud giant ghost stat block, because I wanted to look again, because yes, the alignment is missing. And I'm going through it, and it seems different.
The format to it seems a bit off, hey?
Under actions, you have etherealness, okay? Under actions, you have spellcasting. That's weird. 3 times a day telekinesis at will, fog cloud, once a day control weather.
That's not spellcasting. That's spell-like abilities.
Yeah, the ghost casts one of these following spells using charisma as a spellcasting ability, requiring no material components. But it doesn't give you what your spell saves are, or your level caster, or... That's weird. It's like they fucked up the...
Well, they give you the proficiency bonus, so you can figure everything out, but they don't...
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. Right there. Proficiency bonus.
Oh, that's so fucking weird.
It's in a weird spot.
Yeah, it's beside the challenge rating. I don't like these new stat blocks. Why would they do this? This is the only time I've seen this.
It's been all through this book. These stat blocks have been like that.
What, spellcasting is over in the action area?
That I haven't seen, but I've seen the proficiency bonus there and the lack of alignment. I think they're trying to test the waters for some updates to D&D 5e.
I dislike. Anyway, the next one is called The Curious Tale of Wisteria Vale.
Boo, but okay.
What? You don't like it? It rhymes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's kind of classic. The Curious Tale of Wisteria Vale is a script of a play written in common. It is split up into 3 acts, telling the story of a heroic bard before he becomes corrupted by evil.
Okay.
A wizard donated the book to Candlekeep as an entrance gift. She didn't tell the Avowed that the book contains a secret to accessing Wisteria Vale, which is a magical demi-plane created by the Harpers to imprison a bard named Errant Quill.
I know that name.
Oh, you're thinking Peter Quill.
No, funny joke. But like Errant Quill sounds familiar.
So they put him in there until they could free him from the influence of an evil artifact. It's been missing in the archives for 3 years, but the Harpers just found it. And they've discovered the cure for Quill's corruption. It has come time to visit Wisteria Vale once more.
Okay.
That is cleanly laid out for me at the beginning, and the others haven't been that clear.
No.
That is nice and concise. See, I'm rhyming too now, Dan. You get a new stat block for a constructed commoner who's a medium construct. You head straight into a demi-plane. Cool. You get a map for it. Wisteria Vale is like a small Barovia, right? Like you do not leave by walking out. There are aberrant events. It gives you a bunch of different locations in it. You are going to the Manor. That's a big part of it. You discover Errant Quill is actually there. There is a number of magical paintings.
Oh, God.
Each one is a door to somewhere else.
So what we're trying to get across is that there are a lot of extra planar nonsense going on.
Yeah, I like it. There's some fun stuff in here. You said, "Oh, there's a beholder on the front of the art." The beholder is in this adventure.
Okay, cool.
As well as some other stuff that you wow, they actually give you a freaking menu. Salted cockatrice eggs.
Cool.
Sturge burgers, Dan.
Oh, gross.
So anyway, yeah, there's like that looks like it's a cool little contained adventure. I like that one. Some of these I'm really enjoying. Some of them are just bizarre. But there does seem to be a wide variety, although the layout of this book is just seemingly poor.
Yeah, it's really, really weird. So the next book is, for 12th level, is the Book of Inner Alchemy. And Adam.
Hi, Dan.
Do you like Kung Fu movies?
I do like Kung Fu movies.
And I'm not talking like the new, like, Jackie Chan Kung Fu movie that just.
So you're talking Bruce Lee, like old school?
I'm talking like ones that really hammed up the spiritualism of Kung Fu as well.
Like hammed up, like they
like they went a bit creative with it. Let's put it that way.
Okay, sure.
Okay, a good 10th of their budget were wires.
Okay.
Yeah. The Book of Inner Alchemy. This adventure is a 1970s era Kung Fu movie in D&D form.
Cool.
Basically, it is the Book of Inner Alchemy is the ancient tome, one of the oldest books in Candlekeep that was written by the three masters of the open hand, which are the Ren brothers. Ren Di, Ren Jie, and Ren Mei. Okay?
Is this a rendition of their teachings?
Sure. I'm too tired to riff on it. Oh my God. Anyways, this book basically is fabled to contain the secrets of immortality.
Cool. Or just be a druid.
Or a monk, weirdly enough. You find this book, you are then informed that there are missing pages from the book that would contain that knowledge, and your party must go and retrieve the pages.
Sure, okay. So it's a go get it quest.
Go get it quest.
You're fetching.
Now,
fetch quest.
You do a little bit of searching to figure out who has it, and then you have to go retrieve them. So you go see the Order of the Immortal Lotus.
Cool. I'm so fucking into this.
Okay?
Yeah.
You see a lawful evil human monk named Bak Mei, who is the undisputed leader of the order.
I will be a werebear named Poe.
He judges others by their actions. Words mean nothing. Like, there's Steel Crane, another one of the NPCs.
That was my nickname.
And Jade Tigress.
Whoa.
Okay? So you are going north from Candlekeep into the Cloakwood to meet up with them. There are some dryads.
Sure, but I go and invite people to my Cloakwood.
Adam,
yeah,
the character art is straight out of a Kung Fu movie, man.
Holy shit, you're not wrong.
Right? So there's stat blocks for Steel Crane, for Jade Tigress, for your run-of-the-mill Immortal Lotus Monk, who have force strikes that they are hits that do force damage, not bludgeoning. They also throw darts. So, force damage. Must succeed on a saving throw or be knocked prone. This is a karate movie.
Hold on.
And here is Bak Mei, who is the white goatee.
I'm pretty sure that he trained the bride in Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta ask, what CR are these masters?
Bak Mei is CR 13.
And he's the leader. Okay, so you're level 12, so you're supposed to fight these guys. Cool.
100% you are. It wouldn't be a karate movie if you didn't. So after this, you get some items after you fight them. You get the books. Choking on blood, blah, 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 is a thing here that you read out to your party as you're running this. You get some insight into what happened to the original masters of the open hand and a new item which grants the wearer the ability to siphon vitality from other creatures.
Cool.
These are called the Gloves of Soul Catching.
Cool.
So that is a straight up kung fu movie.
Man, I'm into it. Some of these are really fun. Okay, hold on.
That one and the gnome one are the two that have spoke to me the loudest right now.
First paragraph of the 13th level adventure called The Canopic Being.
Okay.
In this adventure, the player characters investigate the disappearance of a Candlekeep sage and disrupt the plans of a mad oracle bent on domination.
Why the hell?
Why didn't we get that in all of the other things? Like, that's so fucking useful.
The opening paragraph and every other one isn't an adventure synopsis. It is a backstory.
Yeah.
Give me the adventure synopsis first, then give me the backstory. It should be just a formatting thing across the board. The fact that even Chris Perkins was lacking in the synopsis regard. Like, I don't know. There is a departure from the norm here that I'm not too thrilled about when it comes to modules.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm going through this, and this right now, there's a couple of cool things. First of all, your characters are part of a prophecy in this book. This is tied to the prophecies of Candlekeep.
Cool.
I think loosely tied, like it's not directly, but there are golems that have received the organs of an NPC in here, and it tells you who got what organs and where to find them on the map and shit, right? Which golems are using I'm assuming they're flesh golems. The Mirrors of Fortune, the testing chamber. Look at that. Look at that canopic golem. That's badass art. CR 13,
that
of
looks
course.
very
Silver
Metropolis.
Surfer. Yeah. We're getting kind of to the higher levels now, which is fun.
What's the CR on the canopic
13,
golem?
Yeah. Observatory of Fate. There's some cool shit in this. There are a couple of new magic items. The Staff of Fate.
Cool.
Which is a transparent crystal staff that can be wielded as a magic quarterstaff that grants +3 bonus to attack and damage rolls.
If you get that staff, are you Master Fader?
It also has a bunch of charges that can do shit.
Yeah,
There's also a watchful helm.
Yeah. Is it purple?
I love recording with you late at night because you get fucking dirty. And you sit back and you give Terry and I these like moral fucking judgment looks every time that we go down to fucking look at my butthole level of fucking commentary. And then you are secretly, you and Brad, man, I swear to God, you guys are the worst. So no, there's some good NPCs in this. This is a straight up adventure with like a tomb that you are going through here. Cool. and trying to piece together what happened to the person who's been entombed here. So cool. That's there's a lot going on. This one's pretty fun actually. I'm a big fan of it.
So we have the 14th level adventure here. This is called The Scrivener's Tale. Written by Brandis Stoddard and developed by Chris Perkins. An evil archfey is bound within the tome known as The Scrivener's Tale. When you read so much as a hint of the book, you are given a mark. And that mark slowly gets worse.
Oh, good.
Over amounts of days. Basically, this gives you... you get to save a day, and every single time you roll, more of your skin is taken over by the mark. This could mean that within 12 days, your character succumbs to the highest level of the mark, and...
What happens? Do you die? Do you get evil? Do you disappear into the book? Do you...
You get petrified.
Well, that'll do it.
You turn into a statue of solid, smoky gray glass.
Cool.
So, gives you rules on how to assess the mark and figure out how bad things are for you, but then you have a clock, and you must figure out how to reverse the effects of the mark. This will take you everywhere. This will take you 150 miles up north to Baldur's Gate again to go talk to someone in the Haven of the Red Quill. You will find some other foes within this entire thing. You are marked for death, so you're going to be followed by some Fomorians. There's a death slot involved.
Okay, so this one kind of really big picture, right?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this. We got the ticking time bomb essentially going off here, right? Like, there's a lot of fun with this. I feel like the pressure's up, and in a short little side quest adventure that you would drop into the middle of something else, that feels okay to me. Like, I like the fact that we've got this pressure pushing your players forward.
Finally, at the end, you have to summon and fight the Fae within the book to gain favor for the Gloaming Court.
Oh, shit. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Cool beans.
And yeah, there's the stat block here for her, and good luck. Just
good luck.
Just good luck.
Okay, so the next one is called Alcazar's Appendix. I've chosen to roll the R.
Okay.
This one is the 15th level adventure. This is the second last one in the book, and I feel like it's pulled out all the stops.
Okay.
So the idea here is that there was a book that was essentially gifted to Candlekeep. It's got a number of stories in it. It was written by a guy, Alcazar. And
just stop rolling the R now.
it was written by a guy named Alcazar.
There you go.
All right. And anyway, one of them is not finished, and you can look into it in a part of his writings as well. And this is going to immediately, when you open it up, you see a picture of a portal, and guess what happens?
Whoop.
Yep, pretty much. At which point you are face to face with a distant desert people, who are the Bedine, which are humans.
Yep.
And they are trying to figure out what to do with this golem that they can't activate.
Okay.
You can activate the golem. In fact, you're supposed to. Like, that's part of the adventure. And then you have got to go through a number of different areas, including a purple worm nest, like den.
I'm sorry.
Like a lair for a purple worm. This is after you cross the desert that has Rakshasas in it and an Androsphinx. Like, we're going big here. And then you enter the necropolis and fight the Demi-lich.
Huh.
I'm sorry. I lied. A Draco-lich.
Huh.
Yep. You are guided. Remember you said Chwinga.
I hate Chwinga.
Yeah, but these guys are like challenge rating 0. They are supposed to be your little guides when you get fucked in the desert portion.
Well, they are... So what Chwinga are basically little helpful elemental creatures. We first saw them in Tomb of Annihilation, where they were jungle Chwinga. We've seen them in Rime of the Icewind Dale, where they are like tundra Chwinga.
Yeah, so they're all over
now
the
we
place.
have desert Chwinga, and each of them have different aesthetic, different looks.
Yep.
For the most part, they all have that kind of runic head to them.
Yep.
But they're supposed to be helpful. They're elementals. They're flavored to where they are. But
I know you don't like them, but you know what you will like about this? You will like the words phylactery and nether scroll. We're dealing with the Netherese in this.
I'm in.
Yeah, so quit your bitching. And here we go. Like, that feels great. For the overarching story of 5th edition so far, I'm in.
All right, so we have the level 16 adventure here. This is called Xanthoria. Xanthoria is quite an interesting one. It is not necessarily solely about the book, but rather about a fungal plague that is ravaging the Sword Coast. This plague is so massive that not even a wish spell, and it says this, can stem the tide of the contagion.
You have my attention.
Long story short, there is a big chunk that you could read, but this thing destroys a person basically within 5 days of getting it. You turn into a zombie, and you, like a zombie-like creature that just drone the word Xanthoria over and over for no discernible reason before death finally claims them.
Cool.
And it is a DC 20 con save.
Good. Should be.
Okay. Keep in mind, 16th level.
Yeah, about half your party is making that without struggle.
You end up going to The forest containing the Lycortha Expanse. The Lycortha Expanse is a natural jungle way. You are led there by the book that you do end up finding, which is a spore-covered, warped, wet...
like a rotten book.
Rotten-looking book.
Cool.
Okay? You go through the Expanse to... Basically, you are trying to find the creator of the book, who is a lich who used to be a druid.
Okay.
So a druid lich. Okay?
Yeah.
Who has bound her soul into a living creature.
Okay.
So her phylactery is a living creature.
All right, that's some Horcrux level shit. Let's keep going.
So you eventually have to go through, fight her pet Nalfeshni.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Well, there's no use swining about it. Yeah.
I'm saying this just to piss you off. Before she was a lich, she had a pet fairy dragon named Bunny Blossom.
Okay.
Bunny Blossom. Adam? Bunny Blossom.
I hope the Nalfeshni ate it.
So we get a new stat for something called a Lichen Lich.
Cool.
And I'm liking it.
Boo. I also just boo.
It's CR 18. Again, proficiency bonus down there. I'm glad they're giving it to us. I'm glad.
Why?
Just to make the math easy if you need to figure something else out.
I mean, fine. I don't care that they're giving us a proficiency bonuses. Why did they not think that they needed to give it to us now? And they're still fucking up the weird spellcasting shit later in the actions.
Spellcasting's in the actions and no alignment on the lich. I mean, it's a lich. It's lawful evil.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you go and you have to stop the lich and do that to cure the disease.
I mean, it's a lichen lich. It's a fungal disease.
Yeah.
Are there myconids running around in this?
There are myconids running around of it.
Good.
There is a heavy feature of Zugtamoy.
Good.
Which tracks for everything there. There's also something. There's a purple worm. There's a purple worm.
Sorry, I'll zip up.
No, that's not the one I was talking about. But yeah, you are collecting lost mementos to try to restore some humanity back to the lich.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yep.
And then at the end, it says contributor boys.
No.
It says bios.
Yeah.
Contributor bios. Spent too much time on Reddit. And it breaks down who wrote or edited what.
And who they are, what their claim to fame is. There's honestly not a whole lot of names there I recognize, which is really, really cool. I mean, Perkins being Perkins.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be involved.
But there are a few names there that I haven't heard from. And honestly, it's really cool that WotC brought in a bunch of...
New talent.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of that too. I would hope that... I feel like this was a proving ground for them almost. Because these all felt uneven.
They did.
From one adventure to the next. No adventure itself felt bad, but there was no consistency. There's almost like no oversight, which surprises me.
Honestly, this book feels like crap, how do we do a book for a release during COVID? We can't really do a formal, traditional way of doing the book. Let's try this new method. Right? That's kind of what this feels like. It is an anthology book, yeah, but it's an anthology because out of necessity almost, because they wanted to support social distancing and stuff, and they could not get everybody in together.
It's funny, that hadn't occurred to me, but I think you're right.
And it feels a bit rushed because whatever their plan was before was an impossibility, but they needed to make a date. So that's why it feels a little unrefined. The fact that there are not adventure synopses on 3/4 of these is incredibly frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The fact that they are straight up just little pocket adventures. There's no real additional information or player options or anything else like that, right? Like there's a couple magic items strewn throughout, but you gotta find them. There's no appendix to point you in the direction of them. I don't know, man.
Hold on. Before you get into it, there's one final part of this, and that is, of course, the Tearaway Map that's in the back. Which looks like it's pretty standard D&D art.
But it's of Candlekeep.
It is of Candlekeep. Is there a backside to it? It is
There's not.
It is a one-sided, massive...
That thing's huge, man.
Well, Candlekeep is a big-ass keep.
But that tracks for their size. That's about the same size as the... I'm looking at the other maps for the things I have on my wall. I got Icewind Dale. I've got El Chiril. It looks about the same size as those.
It looks more zoomed in. I mean...
Yeah, well, it's higher detail for sure.
Yeah, El Chiril's buildings are measured
Tiny.
in millimeters, and these ones are measured in inches.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is a single-walled city, essentially, but a small one at that. I like the map well enough. It seems to have the big things we talked about at the beginning. The Court of Air, the Great Library, the Exaltation, right? So,
Yep.
And it seems detailed, interesting, neat enough. There's obviously the one-way in and the one-way out on the east side.
Yeah, and like everything else around it is cliff face, right? Like this thing's out on a peninsula.
Yeah, I enjoy that well enough. I'm sitting here looking at the table of contents now. They do give us new monsters with little asterisks. It's weird that they gave us a section for new monsters in one of them. It's called the new monsters section, and then the rest of them just have like thrown throughout the...
Yeah,
there doesn't
it's weird.
seem to be a consistency to it. Also, you'll notice that there's no overarching plot. There's no wrap-up. When you finish the 17th adventure...
It's contributor bios and then end a book.
That's it. There's no wrap-up. Let's roll. Okay, so... Fine.
I got a 5. I'm not going first at all.
I got an 8. Overall impressions. The adventures themselves seem like there is a little bit of something for everybody. It seems like they can be plug and play with a little bit of tweaking.
Okay.
And it looks like the majority of them are linear. However, there are definitely places where there are random encounters or open expanses, like the desert with the Chwingo, or you've got to go through, or you had a list of traps or puzzles to go through. So there are some open portions of it, but for the most part, it's point A to point B. You know where you need to go. When you enter the abandoned village or the town, you need to go to Baldur's Gate. You know the places you're going because they're outlined in it. There's not a whole lot of other information about it. You have a little paragraph here, paragraph there. It's the nature of this book. It's 224 pages, which is cool. The artwork in it is great. Was there a big-ass spread of awesomeness that really stood out to you?
No. I mean, most of the artwork is of either a NPC portrait or of the book itself. There's not a lot of...
Or maps. Like, they've got layout maps of this
there's
temple
a lot
and
of
that catacomb.
Funny enough, this book about a library is very dense in text.
Yeah, you do get the odd piece of artwork of like the surrounding area, but it's rare and it's underwhelming.
But that supports my theory that this book was kind of assembled hastily to meet a release date.
Sure.
Right? Because getting high def art, and like some of it's not even really all that high def. A lot of it just feels and looks kind of slapped together. Honestly, this feels like a DM's Guild book.
It does, doesn't it?
That was put together by...
It feels like a series of DM's Guild adventures, right? Like,
yeah, right? Which, I mean, it very well could be. I don't know the history of how Candlekeep Mysteries came to be. But, like, I've got some other issues. It goes into a 10-page layout of what is within Candlekeep, including this cool ghost dragon and the ranking and file and the avowed. And then it is not again addressed in, or do they matter in any of the adventures.
Yeah,
we have more adventures here that lead to go up north to Baldur's Gate because it's a more interesting city than here.
Well, they all start in Candlekeep, but for the first page of the 8-page adventures.
They don't all start in Candlekeep. But like,
no, you're right. They don't all.
They're all kind of ham-fisted. Okay, you're in Candlekeep, and one of the avowed gives you this book. But really, you could be in the middle of a road in your custom world when a scholar hands you a book.
I feel like the Candlekeep part of Candlekeep Mysteries was their framing device.
100% it was. And it was ill thought out. I would love to see mysteries involving more of Candlekeep. This is just
adventures,
literary mysteries. That's what this is.
I don't even, like, yes, there's an inherent mystery behind all of it, but there's a mystery of what is the Curse of Strahd? What's happening with this Death Curse and Tomb of Annihilation? Yeah. These are all mysteries as well that are inherent. Why is there this blizzard in Icewind Dale? Why is Elturel in hell? Like, there's always that plot. That's not a mystery, it's a plot hook.
Yeah.
I didn't feel mysteries here. I wasn't a gnome inquisitive.
No.
Like, looking my way through this, and I kind of wanted to.
Well, there was some there that could be like, but there was no like murder mystery.
Well, there were a couple disappearances, but yeah, I mean, but it does feel okay. Look, here's what I think it does right. Each one of the adventures by themselves feels like it would be a fun romp with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of everything for everyone. And if I'm running a homebrew campaign and I don't know how to get from level 11 to 13, I can plug in the level 12 adventure here.
Okay.
Stretch it out a little bit, add some of my own homebrew details, and run with it. And each one of them, I'm a little annoyed with the fact that we don't get a breakdown at the beginning of each one of these sections. And if this was a 200-page book of one adventure, that's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
But it's only 8 to 12 pages. That's an hour and a half for reading and prep. That's not that bad.
It's really light. Yeah.
And so I don't feel like this is great for new DMs to plug and play. I feel like it's good for new DMs to 1 or 2 shot. Yeah. You can do your 3 shot at Candlekeep Mysteries through your Roll20 account because we're in a pandemic and everyone's social distancing. So we'll play a couple of these.
Yeah.
Everybody roll up a level 11 character. We're going to do this. All right, so it starts off, you're given a book. It does feel one-shot-ish all the way through. It feels
very one-shotty, yeah.
And I don't hate that. That's just not what I wanted.
No.
And I complained about this in the Tasha's episode as well. Like, that's my consistent complaint is I'm not getting the books that I want. Well, I look at the monster stat blocks in here. We got more NPCs than monsters.
Yep. A lot more.
I also think that we're using a lot of unique monsters from previous books that are going to pop up here. Like I mentioned, there's an Androsphinx and purple worms. This is the first time that I've seen a purple worm.
The Naiad.
Right, yeah. And so, like, that shit's popping up. Cool. I'm glad that they're recycling these. I'm always complaining that they're giving us freaking jade statues when they could have just given us a small size golem, stone golem, right? Like, yeah. I'm glad that they're using the tools that are there, that are available to them. But then they just give us a bunch of crazy ass over the top bullshit stat blocks for other NPCs or named characters or stuff anyway, which is the D&D way.
Yeah.
Right? And
I would have loved to see that there was a little bit more of a, not necessarily an overarching plot, but a connecting tissue between all of these. Right?
It's like not having it does make it so that you can plug and play if you're willing to do a little bit of tinkering.
Sure, but you could still do that with a bit of connective tissue between them all.
Yes, I agree with you. I do have to say this. Everyone ranted and bitched about the hackneyed way that Tales from the Yawning Portal kind of combined all of their 7 adventures into one because, some guy's telling a story in a bar. And I was like, yeah, shut up, who cares? Right? You didn't need that. And now we didn't get it. And I feel like we needed that. Like,
yeah. Well, this book definitely felt like an experiment. Especially with like how their stat blocks are written and how they're there's no adventure synopses. Most of them don't even have a conclusion or fallout.
Oh, there's a conclusion. I saw conclusions all over the place.
Yeah, they were definitely far more numerous, but it was just all like, yeah, you killed the thing. Congrats. Here's the gold reward. Yeah. Like,
it does feel like you were supposed to plug and play. Let's read the back of this. Candlekeep Mysteries is a collection of 17 short, standalone D&D adventures designed for characters of level 1 to 16. So it says right from the get-go.
Yeah, it's standalone. Cool.
Each adventure begins with the discovery of a book, and each book is the key to a door behind which danger and glory await. These adventures can be run as one-shot games, plugged into an ongoing Forgotten Realms campaign, or adapted for other campaign settings. It checked those boxes. It did check those boxes.
Yes, no, it definitely did. This is lowercase c Candlekeep Mysteries. Like, there's not enough about Candlekeep in this. There's not enough depth. Like,
this literally could have been the books in different libraries. Yeah. You are in a library.
This could have been, like they say in the first big, like, honestly, it feels like Candlekeep Mysteries are like, okay, that's our connective tissue. We're going to name it Candlekeep Mysteries. But our project name is going to be a book of books.
Yeah. Which is okay, I guess. I don't know how much I'm going to get out of Candlekeep. I can't make a Baldur's Gate level adventure out of Candlekeep.
I think you could. Yes, Candlekeep is smaller. It's got a smaller footprint, but there's so much richness within that, right? Especially when you have a bunch of books that lead to different planar stuff, right?
Yeah, okay, look, you're right. I don't think that I could have done that and maintained the modular, insular storylines in the shape that they are now. My problem is more with the presentation of the book than it is with the content, right? The idea that the stat blocks seem weirdly uneven. The idea that there's no appendices, there's no list. It says in the table of contents, which is fantastic, it says, hey, here are the new monster stat blocks. Little asterisks beside each one. Where are the new items? Not listed in the table of contents.
No.
You got to hunt. You just need to know that it's there.
And there's no other player options other than new items.
I don't care about that. Like, honestly, a lot of people do, but
I get why you wouldn't care. Because this is a DM's book. 100% it is. But 4 of the 5 people around the table are players. I would like to have seen maybe some sort of, I don't know, scroll making rules or...
No, honestly, the thing that's weird here is there's no background.
Yeah.
We got shit tons of backgrounds out of Ghost of Saltmarsh, right? We usually get a background. I don't think we got one on this.
No,
one.
we didn't.
And so I don't need new subclasses. My problem with a book like this, if there was a new subclass and a new way of building scrolls and stuff like that, and it fills 20 pages of this book, then you just suckered that player over there into spending $60 Canadian, almost $70 Canadian, to pick up a book for 20 pages. I'm glad that this is DM only. I wish that they would do more of that. I don't like the fact that if you want to play the Haunted One background, you have to pick up Curse of Strahd or get the D&D Beyond package.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm glad that it kind of segmented that a little bit. You're right. There's nothing in there for players. There's just nothing for players.
No.
There is no point to buying this if you are not a dungeon master, except if you're finishing your collection off.
Sure.
I don't know. I like the content for what it is. I don't like the layout. I don't like the connective tissue between it. I like Candlekeep for what they gave us, but it was too short and too sweet, and there was nothing to do in it.
Yep.
They gave us a bunch of stuff. I could run homebrew shit in Candlekeep all day long. But at some point, I'm just going to have to start generating my own NPCs in Candlekeep. I'm going to have to start coming up with what the names of that building over there is, and what else is in here beside the handful of businesses that they gave us at the beginning. And, I mean, it's fine to a degree. But I've had more fleshed out dungeons in Tales of the Yawning Portal than I got for the Catacombs beneath Candlekeep.
Mm-hmm.
That's an oversight to me.
I honestly, man, I couldn't agree more.
All right, well, let's wrap this up then, Dan.
Okay.
Because I think we're just going to start retreading the same complaints we've said over and over again. Let's roll initiative and come up with our letter scores.
6.
I got
also a 6.
Also a 6.
Let's reroll. 5.
I got a 13. C+.
That high, huh?
Look, I'm glad that I own this as a dungeon master. I will pull shit out of this. I absolutely will pull bits and pieces and little plot hooks. I will adapt this into my campaigns. I took Death House, flipped it upside down, and made it a ghost ship.
Yep.
I have done little bits and pieces of work in walled cities and things before. I can use Candlekeep and reskin it. I can rename all the proper nouns in any one of these adventures and use it just fine.
Yeah.
This is a great alternative way into Baldur's Gate. There's a good alternative way into the Shadowfell for Curse of Strahd.
Yeah.
There are a couple of options in here, and the last 2 or 3 adventures sounded really badass. There was some fun going on in here, a lot of great ideas, but this suffers from the same issue that the last section of Tasha's suffered from. Do you remember that portion of it was all just like, there's the mimic colony, and there's and it was this really neat idea, but it's 1-page spread, and there it is over there, and plug and play as you want, and that's it. And this could have used a 5-page portion on how to insert these into your campaign. It says right on the back, you can put this into your own homebrew shit.
Well,
but it doesn't tell you how. Like
some just go, a guy walks up and gives you a book.
Yeah. Look, I will be honest. This is low on my list. Do not buy this book. There are 100 other books to buy first. I will buy Tales from the Yawning Portal and Ghost of Saltmarsh before I buy this book.
Yeah, because there are useful mechanics outside of the adventures.
Yep. This one also gave us... I'm a little pissed off. They gave us a fucking new kind of skeleton. We just did a skeletons episode. And so that one's missing. So that's me just saying, hey, we didn't cover this one skeleton. Of all of the skeletons in existence, we missed one. Like, honestly, that's going to happen with this. But nobody's going to know that skeleton exists unless they buy the fucking book.
Yeah. No,
right?
I'm with you.
And I'm just...
Honestly, I'm giving this a C-. What
do you buy this in front of?
What do I buy this in front of? At this point, nothing.
Oh, harsh.
This is the last to add to the library at this point. Yeah. I can't think of another book that does less for my table than this one. Not saying that I can't get stuff from it, but this does less. I cannot think of a single book. I could be running a desert campaign and I will get more out of Icewind Dale than I will out of this book.
I mean, that's fair. That's harsh, though. I'm going to say there are definitely some books. Hoard of the Dragon Queen is kind of a piece of shit. Prince of the Apocalypse is just so fucking uneven.
But they have a lot of interesting external mechanics that you could use in your campaigns. They establish a bunch of these new monsters. And yeah, those earlier books are missing the pulse of what D&D 5e is. But so is this.
I don't know, man. Some of these adventures sounded really fun and cool.
They're cool adventures. I don't want to shit on the authors of them for their plots and their stories and that. My big problem with this book is it's called Candlekeep Mysteries, and we get 10 pages on Candlekeep of a 200 and something page book.
The mysteries weren't mysteries; they were plot hooks.
And exactly, and they weren't even really plot like it. Here's what you do for the next 3 sessions, guys. Right? Like it's just a like mini campaign arc. It's an anthology. I get that it's an anthology, but I've picked up books that are more beneficial to my table off DM's Guild.
I will say this. For the average person, this is not... I would not say that this should be last. I will tell you, Acquisitions Incorporated does not apply to every table. This applies more than Acquisitions Incorporated does for most DMs. Sword Coast Adventures Guide, now that Tasha's has scooped everything out of it.
Fair enough. Well, no. But the Storm Coast Adventures Guide gives us more for Faerun and for the Sword Coast than this book does for anything else, right? Like,
well, okay, look. I'm going to say, though, that the average Dungeon Master, and you don't have to be advanced, you don't have to be a beginner, just the average intermediate DM can pick this up and get about probably 15 sessions of adventures out of this over their career. No problem.
I'll give you that, yeah.
You can't say that they give a shit about the 19 different kinds of humans listed in Skag. As much as I do enjoy the lore, that book sucks. It just fucking sucks. And there are just some bad adventure modules out there. There are some things that, like, if you're sitting there going through, hey, what do I pick up on D&D Beyond? I'm going to pick this up, honestly, before I would pick up something like the Tortle package.
You think?
Yeah, man. I mean, the Tortle package...
As a DM, that makes sense. I think...
for players, don't pick this up. There's nothing
in there for you.
No,
that's an
absolutely
F for you. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, my big thing... If they gave us the same content with a little bit more polish and uniformity, I think it would be rated higher. I know it would be rated higher on my list.
I agree with you 100% that the presentation in this book fell short for me.
Yeah.
The price tag is ridiculous. If you are going to buy this, wait for that Amazon sale before Christmas.
Definitely. Yeah.
This is another one of those books that is going to just fall into the background. That people are going to say, oh, yeah, I own that.
Do you remember Races of Stone?
Yeah, right, from 3.5.
Yeah.
But, okay, look, when it comes to modular stories and bits and pieces, the anthologies, the Tales from the Yawning Portal is the first one and a little clunky. Ghosts of Saltmarsh is aquatic only, and if you're into it, there's a lot of good shit in there, but a couple of the adventures to me fall a little flat.
Sure.
The intro to 10 Towns in Icewind Dale was more modular and fun, and well laid out and clear in Chapter 1 of Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden, than Candlekeep Mysteries presented at any given point.
I agree.
So this does fall short. A lot of the earlier stuff does not feel 5th ed. Most of this feels 5th ed to me. It just feels, why bother 5th ed?
This also has some troubling signs to it with no alignments in any of the stat blocks.
Do you think that this is an outcry based on the dark-skinned drow and orcs being evil?
I think yes. I think
this
D&D
PC culture has...
D&D is moving away from an alignment-based system.
I don't necessarily hate that. I think that they need to change that into an aggression or a selfishness or something else. There needs to be a guide to playing the monsters because the lore doesn't give you a guide. That little, those 6 paragraphs of lore that's beside every monster stat block in the monster manual does not give you tactics. It does not give you
which
aggression.
I miss from the 3.5 thing, right? Like the 3.5 way of doing monsters.
Look, that book was a mess.
It was a mess. The book 100% was a mess.
All of the books. But then we got the Monster Manual 5. It was a shit show.
But you got what size grouping that monster usually came in.
Yep.
And gave you the options there. And it gave you a loose idea of tactics for that monster.
Yeah. You want to know the other thing that 5th Ed sucks? We've not ever mentioned this, but loot drops. Guys, loot drops.
Yeah.
There should be options there, right? When you kill a bandit, you should have a whatever % chance of picking up a blank.
Yeah.
Right? And that should just be a part of it. Anyway, 5th Ed has got its flaws, is the point. This book has some strengths for the right kind of dungeon master once he's picked up other things, and he's got to have relatively low expectations. This is a COVID book. I think you're right based on design. I also think that it was brilliant for them to have released this had they done it a year before, and everyone was just doing this. Well, we can get together on Thursday night for 5 hours.
Yeah.
We'll bang out one of these adventures. I think that it's too little too late.
Mm-hmm.
This will be great for the online community for Zoom. You know what I would like to do? You know what I would like to do, Dan? I would like to invest either my time as a dungeon master or as a audience member to follow all of these stories on Twitch and watch them happen. And you could just play the Candlekeep series and see, this week it's this book, and this week, and now that guy retired that character, he's going to bring in that character. And it's just one-shots, one-offs, 3 2-hour episodes of each one of these mysteries.
Yeah.
That's what this feels right for. I find it difficult to jump into a 40-episode arc of Tomb of Annihilation, and they're all 4-hour-long episodes, and this is more palatable for the Twitch era, for the streaming era.
Fair. That's
so
fair. It
it has its purpose. It has its place. A C+, look, C's get degrees.
They do.
C+ is fine for me. You know what? There was a lot of bullshit that was published in 3rd and 4th edition. A lot of extraneous bullshit. And with the exception of, in my opinion, Hoard of the Dragon Queen and Sword Coast, we don't have any of that. Like the Rick and Morty fucking publication. That was just masturbatory. I get it. I get it for the marketing and for them introducing people to it.
I keep on forgetting that Rick and Morty's even a thing, but
it's not a bad book. I just can't recommend it to people.
No.
Have a friend that bought it so you can borrow it and flip through it. It's just not worth the price tag, unfortunately. I do think that the character art in it is pretty, and the work done by the authors is fine. I cannot state, here's something. All of those encounters seemed level appropriate. You cannot say that for all of the other books.
That's true. That is true.
That's actually a big fucking boon. That's a solid. You were talking me down to a C, and I'm like, nah, that's a solid C+ then. Like, that's level appropriate encounters is important. We didn't really see the big bad get beyond the CR threshold until the last one was a CR 18 for the 16th level, right? And at that point, I don't know, man, your guy should be swinging above their weight class.
Oh yeah, 100% they should.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I'll tell you now, the boss at the end of the 13th level adventure was a CR 13, right?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it makes sense. I'm resolute with the C- on this one. I would never buy this book for myself, just to like.
it's a completionist.
It's a completionist thing. That's the only reason why I would buy it.
Okay, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
The adventures themselves were fine. The adventures themselves, like, my main problem with them was formatting and like, where's the adventure synopses? Where's the connective tissue? Why was
level 4 doubled and we didn't get a level 17?
Yeah,
both of those were good enough adventures. I don't want to see either of them cut, but it's just weird. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no oversight to this book. And I think that Chris Perkins' adventure in it is great. I think as an editor, because he was the main editor on this, it needed more uniformity.
Yeah.
Just in the way that it's freaking presented.
Well, I know when we type up things, we're like, okay, we have to have the synopsis, then we have to have the overview, then we have to have the campaign breakdown, and then we have to have like the backstory, right? And then when we have done writing all those, that is when we could start getting into the meat of the campaign if we're writing, right? I know even when I'm just planning my own homebrew shit, I do a synopsis first. Here is kind of what I want this next 3-session arc to be, right? 1, 2, 3. Here's the backstory of it, the synopsis of it, with the major beats laid out, right? I'm not saying, oh, well, if they travel here, the blah, blah, blah. I'm saying like, okay, I want there to be an Nalfeshni, I want there to be an Androsphinx, and I want there to be, I don't know, Airplane Chwinga. Just a bunch of happy fey elemental farts floating around.
You know what? I want 4 pages at the beginning of every book. Every book moving forward needs to have 4 pages. Page 1, these are the themes involved. Here's your session 0.
Yeah.
Page 2, this is the overarching setting. Okay, not the plot, just your Candlekeep, your Icewind Dale, and by the broad strokes, Icewind Dale, frozen tundra. Expect small 10 towns is this. We'll get into it in chapter 1, but here it is. Here's in the intro. Page 3 is, this is the plot, this is the order. Here are your main events. There's other shit in the middle. We're going to have random encounter things, but that's it. And page 4 is going to be your NPCs with motivations. Include your fucking villain. Nobody knows why Strahd is doing what he's doing by the page 20 in Curse of Strahd. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the books have that problem.
Yeah, and so, fortunately, with an anthology like this...
There is no villain.
Well, every one of them has a little villain.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't take long. Like I say, it doesn't take long to read up on it or to flip 8 pages later and scan for what's the one name that I need to pull out of this. That's impossible in the Waterdeep, in Dragon Heist. There are so many NPC names, right? Like, you really have to go hunting for what the fuck you're doing in some of those.
You gotta prep Waterdeep hard.
So... yeah, you and I definitely have criteria for what we're looking for. Unfortunately, Candlekeep Mysteries did not really hold a candle to what the others are doing.
Yeah, they should have just kept it at home.
It's a mystery why they didn't. Anyway, that's it for this episode on Candlekeep Mysteries. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as dozens of other podcast apps. You can also find us at www.itsamimic.com or email us at info@itsamimic.com. Thanks for listening to the It's a Mimic podcast. Make sure to check out more Legend Lore episodes as we cover new releases as they happen, as well as some of the previously published 5th edition books.
I will say this. It's a pretty map.
I do like the map. Yeah, we're going to put it on the wall?
Probably. A book of books.
A book of books. Now, we...
A book.
A book of book. Okay. Okay. Go and drink, Dan.
Yeah.
What do you want? Beer?
Sure.
Caribou? Fraser Mills?
No, I'm okay without the beer. You could go ahead and have the Guinness if there's a Guinness in there.
Soda Moose Sparkling Water?
Sure.
I will have the last Guinness. C'est quoi?